The oldest league in women's basketball has, in recent years, also featured the most parity. Look no further than the last three ACC champions. Asia Dur's heroics helped propel Louisville to their first ACC championship in 2018. Perennial power Notre Dame avenged their 2018 loss to the Cardinals with their fifth tournament title in 2019. And in 2020, Wolfpack Nation celebrated their first ACC championship in 29 years. So who's the favorite to lift the trophy in 2021? The journey to Greensboro starts tonight in the ACC. This is ACC College Hoops, women's basketball in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and the first conference game for both the Louisville Cardinals, the visitor tonight, and the Duke Blue Devils on their home floor inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. It is so great to have you with us for our game tonight. Tom Wormy along with Kelly Deo, a national champion 01 at Notre Dame. The Kara era begins. Kara Lawson, first-year head coach, decorated career as a player, coach, broadcaster. They've dominated the non-conference, but they step it up tonight. Can she win in the ACC is the question, Kelly.
Well, we know she's been successful at every other level, already undefeated as a coach, but this will be trial by fire tonight. No bigger task ahead of her than having those number 2 Louisville Cardinals on her home floor. She's done an excellent job of getting a group that didn't have a lot of experience to play at a much higher level, but can she do that tonight?
And the Cardinals, with that number 2 national ranking, feature the player of the year from a season ago in the ACC, Dana Evans.
Well, as Dana Evans go, so go the Louisville Cardinals, and she has been dynamic already in this early part of the season. 3 straight games with over 20 points. She had 26 points in the game against UT Martin in just 27 minutes. You see the accolades. She's on every preseason watch list. She is a dynamic player for these Cardinals.
All right, moments away from the tip, Jeff Walls and his Louisville Cardinals. Here's the Toyota starting lineup. It features Evans. Haley Van Lith has been an exceptional addition to this lineup, as a freshman has been Cochran as well in that starting lineup. The Toyota starting lineup for Kara Lawson and the Duke Blue Devils. Mila Goodchild, the junior and consistent scorer for this Duke Blue Devil team, and Anime Akinbadi James also in that starting lineup for Duke tonight. Ready to go. Duke's in the white, Louisville in the traveling red. And the Cards have won 4 of the last 5 in this series between the teams.
Starting off with a turnover, not at all what Jeff Walls wants to see his team right now. Way more turnovers a game than they usually tend to have on a season. 15 already in these first few games.
4-0 for the Cards coming into the game tonight. 3-0 for Duke. Working out of that corner, and the missed shot there from Goodchild. Evans pushes it up. Smith traveling through the lane, and she threw it away.
Well, that's a great start if you're Kara Lawson playing against the second-best team in the country. 2 straight stops your defense gives you.
You think Kara Lawson watches the broadcast after the game and rates the broadcasters as well?
Well, you know, it's funny. She and I have known each other for a few years, and I called her once, and she says when she watches games, she turns off the analyst. She likes to just watch it as a consumer. And so, no, I don't think she's listening to us.
Not tonight she doesn't. She wants to listen to Kelly Deo, I'm sure of it. Third chance for the Blue Devils on the offensive glass, and they cash it in. Akinbadi James.
Well, that's where they've had a lot of success so far in this season, is getting all over the offensive boards. But on the other side, it's Louisville who actually leads the conference in that category.
Cards won Sunday against UT Martin, 85-67, and shot 42% as a team to keep the record clean at 4-0. That one bounces around the rim. They'll go for 3 and hit it. Smith knocking down the three-pointer.
Kenna Smith in her first game in a Louisville uniform had a career-high 21 points.
She's averaging 15.5 points per game. That's an easy 2 inside. And Jade Williams has it for Duke.
What I've loved seeing this season, and really a change from last year, is the big posts for Duke are playing inside. They're not stepping out. You've already seen that on the defensive side, being able to pick up those rebounds, on the offensive rebounding side.
This is Evans to the free throw line, and that one was knocked away and kicked by Williams. The Cards will keep it. Here's the snapshot for Jeff Walls. Look at the record from last year as the #1 seed, 16-2, although they did lose in the semifinals of the tournament to Florida State. But they just keep piling up the wins. 28-4 a season ago. Evans will launch a three, and it is all net. Ripping ropes. Dana Evans.
And you got to be careful if you're Duke to double team that post inside with Cochran, because you've got shooters like the best one right there, and Dana Evans going to make you pay.
Evans already averaging over 20 points per game in the early part of the season.
Look at that. Another O-board, Tom, for the Duke Blue Devils.
And they get it. They make it turn into points with Patrick's jumper. Evans is third in the conference with the 20.3 points per game. And they've knocked down yet another three. Haley Van Lith was wide open, and the freshman hits it.
It wouldn't be long till we said her name. This is a player you got to keep your eyes on. She's great on both ends of the floor.
She's averaging 16 points per game. Keep in mind, back-to-back games are over 100 points for Louisville in games 2 and 3 so far this season. Challenged defensively there, right by Balagoon. Evans dropped it inside, and the layup is good for Cochran.
That's what I love about Dana Evans is her court vision. That could have been her shot easily, but a higher percentage inside to Cochran as she runs the floor and gets the payoff.
Dana Evans led the way with 26 points in the win against UT Martin. Third straight game of 20 points or more for Dana Evans in the early part of the season. Trying to work the interior against the double team, and a bucket for Jade Williams.
And that's not something we saw a ton last season. A good, strong post move to the basket against two defenders.
She's got 4 points. The Cards at the other end of the floor. 4 of 5 on field goal attempts. As that one bounces out on the attempt by Smith.
And you see Haley Van Lith picking up a three-quarter court. That's something Jeff Walls said. He didn't want Duke to get into their offense easily.
Three-pointer rattles out from the corner from Akinbadi James, and it will be Duke basketball. Here's the snapshot for Kara Lawson. First year on the bench, what the team did a year ago. 12-6 in ACC play. And shooting the three effectively. Kind of the calling card for this Duke program. See if they can maintain that momentum this season as well in the first year under Coach Lawson. Shooting 40% so far from three through 3 games for the Blue Devils. Evans in space. Cochran off the fingertips, out of bounds, and to Duke.
You saw that wide open shot there by Dana Evans, but you got to credit this Duke defense. There have not been a lot of those open opportunities for Louisville out of their offense right now. They're doing a good job of playing just straight up man-to-man.
Duke still looking for its first three-pointer. And they're now 0 for 4 from beyond the arc. They'll keep this one and the possession alive. And it's a double dribble against the Blue Devils and back to Louisville.
Nice to see Michaela Boykin on the floor. She missed 2 games with knee soreness. Obviously, you know her story, 4 ACL tears as an athlete, and she is a highly rated recruit coming into Duke, and just great to see her with some action. Had double digits in the first game that she played this season.
10 points, 8 boards, a career high in that game against East Carolina. For Boykin, the senior from Clinton, North Carolina. Haven't mentioned the shot clock yet, but it's inside of 10 in this possession for the Cards. Evans, the fancy dribble, and she got fouled. So we'll take a timeout. 11-8, the Cards lead the Blue Devils. ACC women's basketball. It's an early lead for the #2 team in the nation. First ACC game on the schedule for both the Blue Devils and Cardinals. And the first ACC game, coaching on the sidelines for Kara Lawson. How about the career trajectory for her? 4 years playing under Hall of Famer Pat Summitt at Tennessee. 3 Final Fours, a couple of NCAA runner-ups. 13 seasons in the WNBA with 3 franchises. That includes the Washington Mystics in the title there. transitioning to the announce booth, an analyst, also working with the Boston Celtics as an assistant in 2019. Then in July, named the head coach here at Duke. And we spoke to her earlier today, and I straight up asked her all the motivations that went into accepting this job. And she had a great experience with the Boston Celtics, but she wanted to be involved as a head coach, and what a better institution to be associated with, and the partnership between Kara Lawson and Duke.
Yeah, she got the dream job. Absolutely. She said she'd wanted to be a head coach since she was a young girl. She played against, or under, one of the best head coaches in all of women's basketball in Pat Summitt, and has honed her skills in the WNBA under great coaches. And then Brad Stevens, I mean, one of the best there with the Celtics. So it's exciting to see all the wealth of knowledge that she brings to this Duke basketball team. And you've seen the players already respond to her in the way that they've been able to be on the court. I mean, we've not seen numbers like this from some of these Duke athletes.
Two-time All-American at Tennessee. Don't forget the gold medal in Beijing, China in 08. The WNBA champ with the Sacramento Monarchs in 05. One of the most decorated players in the history of women's basketball, and now leading this Duke program.
And what a great recruiting tool, too. Just to know that you could be under Kara Lawson, learning from her at Duke University. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
That jumper, soft bounce, and it will fall for Jada Patrick. Van Lith. They try to get it inside. Dixon misses. Fancy dribble from De Jesus. Out of bounds, keep it at this end of the floor. Time for the Honda startup. And it features the 6 players on that Duke roster, averaging 10 points or more per game in the early portion of the season. That's your Honda startup. And right now they trail Louisville by 3. That'll bounce off of the backboard, and Van Lith trying to get the numerical advantage. Step back, and that's a 3. Right near the line, and good for Kiana Smith.
All right, I've watched a lot of film so far on both of these teams, and Kiana Smith is absolutely one of my favorite players on the court. I know she's only played in a couple, but her athleticism, her knack for getting the ball into the basket, the way that she gets other players involved. I mean, keep your eye on number 14 in red.
Blue Devils trying to drop it low. That was deflected out of bounds on the drive. Duke maintains possession. Balagoon to the Cardinal bench area. De Jesus out of the lineup for Coach Lawson. Anastasieska. That's that last name for the graduate student. Deep into the shot clock, and here come the Cards. Akasa Robinson is into the lineup, number 5 in red.
That's a great series right there for Louisville. You force a shot clock, make them make a very tough last-second shot on defense, and then you come on the other end and you get a good bucket by Liz Dixon inside.
So 2 for 6 on conventional shots for Louisville, and 4 for 4 on three-pointers. Crossover into the paint. Jada Patrick.
What a story. Jada Patrick, 21 points in her first game as a Blue Devil this season. And she had only averaged 33 total points last season. Unbelievable.
She's got 6 so far tonight. Now, she started the night with 39 points total in the first 3 games, and as Kelly mentioned, just 33 total points all season last year. Talk about making the most of your opportunities.
Yeah, just an incredible job she's done, and again, just believing in this new system, buying in.
Van Lith gave it back to Smith behind the line, and the Cards have not missed from distance. 9 points.
That's a smooth stroke from Smith, and you got to keep your eye inside. Liz Dixon had a big mismatch against her. Anastasievska was trying to guard her inside. They missed her, but Smith made him pay.
Blue Devils beat East Carolina on Saturday, 72-47. Jumped out to a 15-0 lead, never looked back. That foul's going to go against the Cards. In fact, Duke made 11 three-pointers in that win against East Carolina.
And the one thing I think that Kara would love to take back in that game, they had a bunch of turnovers, and East Carolina pressured them for a lot of the game, and they got to see a little bit, this is a young team, and so she got to see how her team responded. And so I can imagine that a lot of those practices leading up to that was just ball control, handling possessions, and we've seen Duke do a pretty good job of that in this game.
Boykin. Shot clock is at 8. Just over a minute to go in our first quarter. Smith will dribble up. And now we're inside of a minute to go in the first. 21-12, the advantage for Louisville. They've won 3 in a row in the series. 4 of the last 5. Evans stumbles into the paint and traveled in the process.
And we talk a lot about the Louisville offense, but it's their defense that's really been so impressive. They took a DePaul team who averaged 109 points, the most in America, and they held them to 75. I mean, they're not making it easy right now for Duke to get open looks.
And the 116 they scored in the win against DePaul was a school record. Most points in school history.
I mean, they're tough in every aspect of this game. If you can stop them offensively, then you better be able to score on the other side.
Jeff Walls looks like when he pulled down the mask, working a little facial hair in there. So, going for the look. Whatever gets it done. You know how Coach Walls has tried to cobble together a schedule out of conference. Good passing, they don't get the desired result as Robinson missed him close.
Yeah, he's led the charge in that, trying to find games.
Missed shot there from close to the basket by Boykin, and that's going to do it for the first quarter. 21-12. Cards. And knocking down the 3-ball. Evans. Van Lith. Open shot. How about Smith stepping back and hitting it? The 3-pointers, critical in that first quarter for Louisville. 21-12, and they didn't miss. They were 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. Back inside Cameron Indoor Stadium, 21-12, the Louisville advantage. 5 for 5 from beyond the arc. And Duke failed to hit from three-point range, 0 for 5. Our hardy star to watch, Haley Van Lith, the freshman, 5'7" guard. Impactful in the early season, averaging 16 points and also a crash of the boards with 7.5. Kelly?
Because she leads her team in rebounds from the guard position. That says so much when you have to handle the ball so much, but you're also doing what you need to get those boards. That's a timing thing. She just reads the game so well. She's going to be a really special freshman in the ACC through these next 4 years.
21 points in that win against DePaul for Van Lith. Also had her first career double-double against Eastern Kentucky with 20 points and 11 boards and an easy basket inside for Duke and Jade Williams.
Great find by Goodchild there, the spin, and finds Williams inside.
6 points now for Jade Williams. Just 6 of 21 shooting in that first quarter for the Blue Devils. Trying to pry it away from Cochran was Williams. And the arrow will favor Louisville.
Great hands there defensively on the perimeter. I got to brag on my post player right there. She leads her team second in assists, but leads her team in assists. I mean, second in the ACC as a post player. I am so impressed when I see my bigs making plays like that.
The one-armed rebound from Williams, too, shielding off the Louisville player. It's going to be a foul and a reach-in there by Smith. Reno Valley, California, redshirt junior. Transfer from Cal. Played 65 games for Cal as Van Lith comes back in.
She was a part of that Pac-12 all-freshman team over there at Cal, and I know Coach Walls has been so excited to get her on the floor. You think about it, she spent a whole year practicing in his system, playing against Dana Evans every single day, against Jasmine Jones, and now she finally gets a shot on the floor, and I mean, this is a fun thing to watch.
Williams tried to dribble down the lane, and foul was called. It's going to be on Cochran. First on her. Luis Gonzalez, Talisa Green, Rod Creech in charge of the action tonight. Cochran able to maintain possession with the 21-14 advantage. Early stages, second quarter. Tom Wormy, Kelly Deo, and our outstanding ACC women's basketball production crew with you from Durham, North Carolina. First ACC game for both teams. No fans allowed in the building tonight. Miss on the drive from Robinson. Cochran. Easy layup.
I mean, they are really trying to shut down the inside by bringing the double team to the post, but that time Louisville did a great job of reversing it and finding the open Cochran inside. No help set.
She's got 4 points. Had a double-double against UT Martin with 17 points, 10 boards. At the other end, Williams again.
That's her bread and butter. She doesn't shoot it from out there. She can put it on the floor. That was pretty.
Oh, cross it over for Van Lith. Rolls off the rim. Cochran crashes the glass. Second chance off the rim. And she was fouled. How about the move by Van Lith to start the possession, driving to the rim and crossing it over.
Yeah, a couple McDonald's All-Americans for you right there. Haley Van Lith and Olivia Cochran, both, by the way, players under Kara Lawson. They played in a 3-on-3 in actually, it was Mongolia, and it was a Olympic World Games, and they won a gold medal. Sam Brunell also on that team, but Kara talked to us a little bit about them and our conversation with her earlier, and I know it's got to be fun to be able to coach against some of these players that you loved playing or coaching for.
She is scheduled to coach the USA Basketball 3-on-3 team in the Tokyo Olympics, but as she put it to us, we hope we get to Tokyo for the Olympics, which is positive thinking. We hope we get all the way to Greensboro in early March for the ACC Women's Tournament. Again, Cochran has the ball.
And I think at this point, anybody is just breathing a sigh of relief when you get to play a basketball game. Coach Walls has already had 4 scheduled basketball games that have been canceled, and he's had to go and find other games to play.
Remember, one of the teams on the schedule was UConn. They were supposed to play on a neutral court in Connecticut. Had to find a replacement for that game.
Even that DePaul game, that was a last-minute pickup. Coach Walls, it's been well noted, he put out a Twitter feed, and now he's got a text thread with about 24 or 25 coaches on there, and he said, we go to it daily because things are canceling regularly, and so just to have somebody that they could be in a close proximity to be able to play has been very helpful.
Yeah, that was a top 25 win because at the time, DePaul was ranked number 20 in the nation. Louisville scored 40 points in the third quarter, a school record for points in a quarter, and beat DePaul. Pull up from Evans, does not get the bounce. Up ahead, good child, and she raced up to catch that one, gather and score.
And Louisville has not been allowing much transition for Duke. That's something they've done a lot this season so far, is relied on that run game. But Louisville, to their credit, has really put a stop to it until that one.
That was the first bucket for Goodchild, the junior from Queensland, Australia. Coming off of that 24-point performance against East Carolina, a game high, and she made 6 3-pointers on 10 opportunities. Number 3 in white with the basketball for Duke. Another miss from three-point distance for the Blue Devils. They get it back. Good child. Akinbade James let the defender fall out of the way.
Great hands there by Duke, disrupting that would-be Louisville fast break and got a basket of their own.
Duke, though, is 0 for 7 on three-point attempts. Goodchild is 0 for 3. Evans springy in the paint to put it off the glass and in.
Going back to that DePaul game, DePaul's a team that puts up the three ball probably more than anybody in the country, and they were also able to stop DePaul from the three-point line. So this is just great man-to-man defense, getting a hand up when you're along that perimeter. And I say it, and look at that. Oh, no. Almost.
Evans has 7 points. That's another miss, though, and Louisville unable to run it down with Mikasa Robinson.
Look at that. The fake takes Boykin, gives her a second, and then gets around her defender. Nice open look on the left side. She's so quick with the ball. Even without the ball, she just makes such great reads and gets herself into open positions.
Certainly one of those players with aspirations to the next level as the player of the year in the ACC from a season ago. And a double dribble violation against the Blue Devils. And Boykin, the Cards will have the ball when we come back to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Well, the Cardinals are 4-0 this season, and Coach Walls considers them lucky to have played those games at all. And he's looking for anybody who wants to get a run against the Cardinals.
I just love this. He's led the charge, and he's getting his news out there, and that worked. I mean, just being able to put that on a public forum like Twitter, he got people in the conversation. He got the games he needed. And as I said earlier, now he's got a text thread with about 25 coaches, and they go to each other regularly.
The power of social media.
Yeah.
Coach Walls, as they say, went to Twitter to try to find some opponents. And you're going to have to get creative in 2020, 2021, as we make our way and navigate through uncharted waters this season in collegiate athletics, for that matter, and for the world, for that matter. Everybody making incredible adjustments, following all the health and safety protocols in and around the ACC. Our crew doing a tremendous job just to get this game, and any game for that matter, on the air here hours before the game, hours after the game, and all the work put in by all of the member institutions and the Office of the Commissioner and John Swafford to make sure that we have athletics this season in the ACC.
Huge thank you to all involved, and you said it well, Tom. Couldn't be happier to be here calling this game right now.
Six-point lead for Louisville, led 21-12 after the first quarter. DeJesus picks up the foul.
By the way, that was senior against freshman. You don't think Dana Evans wants to put on a little clinic, show the freshmen how things are done from that point guard position.
Evans with the basketball now. Trying to work that baseline, got away from the defender and scores.
Well, she's capable of doing that every time down the floor. But, you know, Louisville, they don't need her to score every single time. They've got capable players around her. But once in a while, when they're in a scoring drought, you'll see Dana Evans just take it to the bucket.
And this whistle will go against the Blue Devils as well. Anastasievska picks up the foul. Pass inside goes out of bounds and to Duke, and that's turnover number 7 in the game so far for Louisville. DeJesus, the freshman, handling. Evans, the steal and the layup.
Both sides of the floor right there. There's your ACC reigning player of the year. Turning defense into offense.
She's got 11 points now. That is 60 career games, double-figure scoring for Dana Evans, the senior from Gary, Indiana. Shooting 47% from the floor this season so far. Knocked out of bounds by Jade Williams as Duke tried to save it under the basket.
You know what I love, though, about Dana Evans is you saw the numbers earlier on a graphic. She came in as a freshman, didn't play a ton, only averaged about a point a game. And then she followed that up by being the 6th player of the year in the ACC, coming off the bench, only to follow that up by being the ACC player of the year. You talk about getting better, putting the work in. This is what Jeff Walz does in his system. He develops great players that leave his program and go play in the WNBA.
A long way from that freshman season for Evans with one start and another turnover, the 8th of the game for Louisville. Evans made 93s a season ago, and that was best in the ACC. Knocking body James. Little handoff Boykin. Inside of 3 minutes to go in the second quarter, the scoop will not fall for Boykin. Van Lift, potential 2-on-1. Evans fills the lane. Double clutch, no good.
And I know that's a missed shot right there, but that fast break started because of the quick outlet pass by Liz Dixon. She grabbed the board and got the outlet out so fast. I love seeing that from a post player.
Despite the miss, Evans still has the last 6 points for Louisville, and the lead is 10.
I was going to say, can you tell what position I played? I know I've been talking a lot about my post players.
Evans, defender on her hip. Drops it off. Cochran had it blocked. Direction inside for Louisville. That was Dixon. And now Van Lith with the 3, and that'll bounce out of bounds.
That's the first miss from three-point line for Louisville.
That was their first three-point attempt in this second quarter after going 5 for 5 from three-point distance in the first quarter for the Cards. And you saw Patrick come out of the lineup for Duke.
And so that's a great Duke adjustment, right? You see the first quarter, 5 for 5. So what does Kara say in that huddle? Guard the three-point line. And so here we are, 2 minutes left, and now that was just the first 3 to go up.
During the action of these first 2 quarters, first time all season that Duke has actually trailed against an opponent, although it is the number 2 team in the nation, highest ranking, tying the highest ranking in school history for Louisville. How about on the offensive glass? Yeah. Nobody found De Jesus.
Probably the smallest player on the floor gets the O board in the bucket. I'd love to see her get going. I've watched some film on her, and she is an impressive freshman as well. And to be a freshman in the ACC to play point guard, man, your coach has got a lot of faith in you.
That was her first basket for the 5'8 freshman De Jesus. So the Louisville lead is 8.
Yep, there's the senior. Showing her how it's done.
And she lays it in. 13 points for Evans. Clock stopping with 57.7 seconds to go in our second quarter. And the lead now back to 10. So we'll also step aside for just a moment in the second quarter with the Cards in front of the Blue Devils. 10-point lead matches the largest of the game for the Cardinals. De Jesus just got her first basket. And in fact, 18 of the 22 points for Duke have been in the paint. Williams responsible for a lot of that. She brings it over midcourt.
Louisville was in some full court pressure. Really, it's caused Duke to get that turnover. It was a struggle all the way down the floor, though.
Marissa Russell also in the lineup now for Louisville, but the drive by her teammate Elizabeth Balogun in the trance had a three-point play. Buddy James picks up the personal.
The former ACC freshman of the year when she was at Georgia Tech, and the long arms, the quick first step, the and one. I like it.
Balogun, 3 for 4 from the line so far this season. Add that free throw for the junior from Chattanooga, Tennessee. And as Kelly mentioned, the transfer from Georgia Tech. Spent some time on the Nigerian national team for the Olympic qualifiers a season ago. Balogun. Final 20 seconds. It's about a 3-second difference game to shot. And here is the shot. Rattles out. Boykin. Balogun on the run. Traveling violation with 7.1 seconds on the clock. 9 turnovers in the first half for Coach Wall's team. Duke has not made a 3. And in fact, they'll go 0 for 11 in the first half. Struggles from beyond the arc for Duke. Not so much for Louisville and Dana Evans.
Just a terrific job, both ends of the floor. The ACC Player of the Year from a season ago is showing us what she's got in this next season. On the floor, she is actually already in the ACC. She's leading the ACC in assists. No surprise there.
Remember, we did a game up at the Carrier Dome last year. She joined us for the broadcast. Was so excited about trying to get back in the lineup, get the strength back up, the endurance, and it appears she's been able to do that. That's a wonderful story we'll document throughout the year in college basketball.
Yeah, I heard her say a lot about that first game that she was to play. She said she had a ton of pressure on her for her own doing. She wanted to play the best game she's ever played. And it was a great game, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of those wonderful performances ahead of her in ACC play.
We've seen some pretty good performances in the first half of our game. We told you about Dana Evans and her 13 points to lead all scorers. In fact, Evans was the only player to get double digits. Williams had 8 for Duke, and she led them with those 8 points. Cards on the road, away from Louisville, 1-0 so far away from KFC Yum Center. You know, they've played an unranked opponent 125 times most recently. Their record in those 125 games, the last 125, 123-2.
It's unbelievable.
That's what the Blue Devils are up against tonight on their home floor.
I know one of them was Ohio State. I believe that was either last year or the year before, but his buddy Kevin McGuff got him on that one, and that was a great drive to the bucket by Duke inside Jada Patrick.
So that's 8 points now for Patrick, tied for the team lead with Jade Williams. And Duke gets on the board early in this third quarter. See if they can find the three-point shooting range as well. 0 for 11 for the Blue Devils in this game. Patrick just picked up the personal foul. That's her second.
Yeah, right now where Duke's had success has been in the paint. They've not gotten that outside shot to fall, but they've got 20 of their 24 inside. So I imagine they'll continue to go in there on the offensive end.
Evans whips that pass along the baseline. Stepping back was Smith. Cochran tried to save it, stepped on the line.
Cochran already with 7 rebounds in this game. 8, excuse me, to go along with 5 points. She's been impressive. Yeah,
right on her average for the season, 10th in the ACC in the early going. 9th all-time meeting between the programs. Louisville leads 5-3, but Duke has the advantage here at Cameron Indoor Stadium. 3 victories to 1 loss. Trying to clean that up inside was Akambade James, and she missed it from close range.
And you saw Duke trying to get whatever they could on the outside. Louisville's been defending that ball screen so well, so she tries to reject it, takes the step back, but couldn't get it to go.
Don't forget tomorrow, special time and day, Thursday night football in the ACC on your regional sports networks. 15th all-time meeting between Pitt and Georgia Tech. Pitt leads the series and has won 4 of the last 5. So check that out tomorrow night from Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Great transition bucket there. Started off with the turnover, and Duke makes them pay on the other end.
Van Lith, high degree of difficulty. Knocked away into the backcourt, deflected. looking for was Patrick.
And this is exactly the game plan that Coach Walls wants. You see all the pressure that Louisville's applying so far away from the basket. You don't often see that. Sometimes defenses will sag off and they'll let you kind of run your stuff, making sure that they get on shooters. But Jeff Walls was worried about Duke getting into their offense, and Duke has had trouble because of that pressure up top.
Louisville with the basketball and the lead. Got it right back from Van Lith. Turnaround, off balance and good.
She looked like she may have hurt herself a little bit on that one coming out of the bucket, but wow, that was a good freshman to freshman pass on the interior, and Cochran, good looking post move.
She's got 7 points in our game. Olivia Cochran, freshman from Columbus, Georgia. Duke saves it. Akinbadi James lined up a 3. Duke gets it back. De Jesus. And that's the first made 3 of the game for Duke.
Well, if there were fans, they would be on their feet right now because it was a long time coming for Duke to see that one go down. Let's see if that can propel them to a few more.
7 points, De Jesus. Evans backs it out, wants a 3 of her own. Akinbadi James, the clearance. Halftime lead was 13. And Duke's cutting into that lead thanks to Vanessa De Jesus, the freshman. 9 points in the game. She's got the last 5 points for Duke. Van Lith puts on the brakes and hits.
A couple of players I imagine we'll be seeing on that all-freshman team in the ACC playing against each other right now. Back-to-back buckets for the freshmen.
Haley Van Lith averaging 16 points per game. But as Kelly mentioned, also rebounding her position as well. 7.5 per game, and she had the last score for Louisville.
So I've been talking a lot about my post players, right? Look at Cochran inside, turns, finds Haley Van Lith, only to repost and get it back and turn over that shoulder to get it in the bucket. I mean, this is just a freshman, but her post moves are putting her in another class. I mean, you don't see people come in with that kind of repertoire down low, having that kind of court sense to be able to kick it out and then repost again. That's some good coaching. Post coach, I love it.
Out of the corner. Williams, the turnaround, got fouled. Cochran was defending, 44 in red. Second foul on her.
I like the way that Cochran, she can defend a little bit further out from the basket, but I think Jade Williams is doing a good job of taking advantage, turning and facing, using her quickness to get to the bucket, and that's what caused Cochran to give that foul.
First free throw of the game for Duke and Jade Williams. Take a look at Dana Evans. Right up to Cochran there to keep her out of the fray. 1 of 2 for Jade Williams from the line. And a foul was called in the aftermath. And that's going to be against Balagoon. That's her first.
There's the box out. Yep. Looks like she did undercut her. Just, you got to stay still. Once you get that player on your back, you cannot force her to go up over your back. You got to stay in position and just go up. That was a good call by the official.
Good child. Stepping in and around and missing.
Duke needed that bucket right now. You're down 7 to the number 2 team in the country. Every shot is necessary. That's pretty. Yeah, I mean, her stroke, the way she gets herself open, she is going to be so much fun to watch.
So that's 11 points now for Kiana Smith. We'll take a timeout on the turnover. 41-32, Cardinals in front in the third quarter against Duke. The evening in Durham features Louisville and Duke, and the Cardinals with a 41-32 lead as we play inside of 5 minutes in the third quarter. Kara Lawson, not the only first-year head coach in the ACC.
Yeah, you got D.L. Ivey over there, my friend, my teammate, also in her first year. And then Brooke Wyckoff is in right now as Sue Semrau. Her mom was diagnosed with cancer, and she chose to take the season off and be with her. And we wish her just all the love and prayers and just hope that she gets better. And Brooke Wyckoff has taken over for her, and that is, I'll tell you what, I feel old because all those three are my contemporaries. I played in the same era as all of them, so all of a sudden,
Not old.
That just aged me right there.
Experienced. Seasoned.
It is kind of fun, though. I think Brooke and I both were 01 grad, and Kara a couple years behind me at Tennessee.
Certainly wish the very best to Coach Semrau, who took her team all the way to the title game in the ACC tournament a season ago before falling to NC State. In fact, they upset this Louisville program in the semifinals of our tournament a year ago in Greensboro. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but it's worlds away from where we are now, that's for sure.
It's a whole different world.
Our intention is to get to Greensboro. The road to Greensboro starts tonight. Started a long time ago, actually, when these teams tried to get their schedules together and got practices, and everything's different now. You have to follow all the health and safety protocols done so well by these schools, and we'll make our way through this season. De Jesus misses the shot from close in.
That was great on-ball defense by Mikasa Robinson, who's got the ball now.
Van Lith, twisting shot.
That was pretty off the glass, falling into the baseline. Wow.
She's got 7 points. Boykin might have been deflected, didn't bother Williams.
Well, that's where Duke will be able to pick up some points, because I'll tell you what, Louisville is not letting anything happen on the offensive end. Their defense has been tremendous, and Duke's getting nothing out of their original sets. But off the offensive rebounds, that's where they could do it, as Dana Evans misses that one.
In transition, Boykin trying to spin it off the square. And Robinson ended up with the basketball for Louisville. Trying to knife her way through the Duke defenses. And the turnaround over the front rim from Smith with the soft touch. 13 points, Kelly.
I mean, there's not an answer for her right now. She's running in transition. She's hitting from outside. Mid-range game, it's complete.
And the lead now up to 11 for Louisville after that bucket there from Smith. Cards up 45-34 here in Durham late in our third quarter. And this is the arrangement of the ACC this season. They'll get the regional divisions. For example, Louisville and Duke will play each other twice, and both games will be here, the 20-game ACC schedule. And they'll try to get up to 25, 27 regular season games. Subject to change, as is all of the 2021 schedule. We've already seen a lot of disruptions.
Subject to a lot of change.
Thank goodness our game tonight not affected, and we hope everything runs smoothly from here on out. It's going to be a challenge, though. 12 turnovers now for Duke. So they will play again on December 31st, and it will be here. Last time they played here was January 6th of 2019, a win, 73-51 for Louisville, traveling. Beat Duke at home last year in early January. Van Lith against two defenders, doesn't get the bounce. Looking for the second chance. Fenced in, held ball, and the arrow will go the other way in favor of Duke.
She uses her body so well to get to the bucket, driving along the baseline, got her own rebound, and then Duke caused the tie-up. But, I mean, just the wealth of knowledge in her for just being a freshman, you know, to understand the time, score. Duke just turned the ball over after a timeout, go ahead and attack the basket. I mean, those are all what you'd see from a seasoned player.
12 turnovers now in the game for Louisville. You know, each of the previous 3 wins this season for Duke had been by 25 points or more. Certainly stepping it up in competition. Off with a turnover. Evans was fouled.
And got there just a second late. And there's just the mishandle by Jade Williams and the hustle. I mean, this is what you're seeing from this Cardinal defense. Every single possession, they have not quit on the defensive end and made it so difficult for Duke to get good looks at the basket, shooting just 33% right now from the field, 7% from the three-point line.
So Boykin picked up her second personal foul. Dana Evans at the free throw line, 85% for her career from the line. Came into the night 11 of 14 from the stripe, and now she's got 15 points. Those are her first 2 free throws of the night. And also, first points of the third quarter. She had been 0 for 3 from the floor and 0 points in this third. Pass behind Williams. Tried to tap it to Akinbade James. It's out of bounds in front of the Crazies.
Well, and that's what happens sometimes. When you've committed some turnovers, you start overthinking it on offense. And I thought Duke, with that pressure that was coming, they got the good pass to the middle, they should have attacked. But you saw Jade Williams pull back a second, and then a poor pass ends up with the turnover.
Evans got the defender in the air. Gave it off to Robinson. Follows her own miss. Mikasa Robinson. Over to Evans straight away. Angular rebound, whistle and foul.
Louisville just doesn't quit. And this is what you saw against DePaul. That was actually just a 6-point lead after the first quarter when they played DePaul. Again, remember, 20th best team in the country. They ended that game with 116 points and held DePaul to 75. I mean, that's just a team that has depth coming off the floor, people coming in to contribute, players like Dana Evans, freshmen like these. I mean, this is a well-stacked team. Coach Walls has done a terrific job recruiting.
How about that little soft shot in a bucket? Turnaround from Van Lith. Now with 9 points in that game against DePaul. They made 49 field goals to match their score on the scoreboard right now. That was a school record against DePaul for field goals made.
All right, through the legs, the hezzy, the spin, the fall away. Are you kidding? She's a Washington product. I love the West Coast. I mean, this is a long way from home, but that's the beauty of basketball nowadays. You know that all of Washington State is watching their hometown player and cheering her on.
Williams. 25 seconds on the game clock. De Jesus gets fouled, and she'll move to the free throw line.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of that. More attack in the basket, right? You're playing a little bit on your heels. You're tentative in your passing. Go ahead and attack the basket. And I love, you know, just a freshman, De Jesus. And we've seen her a few times attack the rim, and good things are happening.
Made the first 3 of the night for Duke after they had struggled from beyond the arc.
Yeah, the only 3. 1 of 13.
10 points now into double digits. De Jesus. Started every game so far this season for Duke and has a couple of free throws. So she's now 6 of 10 from the line on the season. And that's Cochran, 44, back into the game. Final 10 seconds of the third quarter. Evans on the dribble. Trying to beat a second defender. Van Lith is the safety valve. The shot is off the mark and out of bounds, and to Duke, there's only 0.4 left. That is enough time for a catch and shoot. You need 0.3 on the clock for the catch and shoot ability.
We will choose not to go that route.
So that'll do it. 3 quarters done. Jeff Walls and the Cardinals have the 49-36 lead. Van Lith, all kinds of window dressing and a soft touch. Cards in front of the Devils. Louisville's led by as many as 15. It's a 13-point lead headed to the final quarter. How about a week ago, the defending ACC tournament champs taking on the top-ranked team in the nation, South Carolina. Kayla Jones, 16 points, 12 boards. Alyssa Canane, 14 points, 4 blocks, 54-46. That's the final statement win for the Pack, ending a 29-game home winning streak for #1 South Carolina and limiting them to just 46 points. However, the order of finish, as predicted by the coaches, Louisville will be ahead of NC State.
Well, that will be a matchup to keep your eye on. Put that date down on the calendar and circle it 10 times, because all eyes on that 1-2 matchup coming down the road. But I'll tell you what, ACC, that's the beauty of ACC play, is anybody can beat anybody any given day. And there's a lot of capable teams in that lineup right there, top 8 and beyond. Some great performers, and you're seeing even at Florida State, who lost that trio that just so many great players. Ikamu, Wolfoot, Gillespie. Morgan Jones now stepping in, and she's the leader in the ACC in points, 22 a game for Morgan Jones.
I think you're talking about that Sunday, January 17th game when Louisville will host NC State at 3 o'clock. Bucket for the Cards. It's Evans. Give her 17 points in the game to lead everybody. Boykin might have stepped on the line there to turn it over.
And the crossover. Jada Patrick, nothing you can do there is just follow her. She goes all the way into the bucket. Finishes with the right.
On the entry. Williams, the stand-up stone-faced D. That ball's going to stay with Louisville as it bounced out of bounds.
But I like the post-entry pass. The guards have been handling it a lot in the third quarter at least, and not a lot of post touches on those possessions. They haven't needed them, but go back to Cochran. Let her go.
How about Evans on the drive, calculating the angle off the backboard.
Or do that.
19 points, Kelly Dale.
She's just unstoppable.
Remember, Evans has scored 20 or more in the last 3 games for the 4-0 Louisville Cardinals, who have now built their largest lead of the night at 17. Deep into the shot clock, and it bounds out of bounds for Duke.
And that's a 4 shot right there. Mila Goodchild is such a capable 3-point shooter. She's terrific. She's gotten better in the offseason. And she's got to find her shots within the offense. But Louisville, again, really defending well, not making it easy along that 3-point line to get anything open.
Cochran backing up. Williams was defending and whistled for the infraction. To her dismay. Second foul on Williams. Second overall trip to the line for Cochran. Now 2 for 3 from the stripe at 8 points. High school All-American a season ago out of Columbus, Georgia. Had the double-double against DePaul and also against UT Martin with 17 and 10 in their most recent game.
She led her high school team to their first ever state title as a junior. The team went 32-0, and that's something I never got to accomplish, was a state championship. That is such a fun thing. With your high school team, not losing a game, I mean, that's got to feel good.
Just picked up her 3rd personal. Lofty goals without question for this Louisville program this season.
The one thing they have not accomplished, of course, is that elusive national championship. Jeff Walls and his club have been to the Final Four many times, been to the championship game twice, many trips to the Sweet 16, Elite Eights, and you know, you kind of wonder if the tournament had gone on last season, Louisville playing the way they were, with a lot of that firepower and Jasmine Jones and Bianca Dunham inside, Kylie Shook. Who knows what could have happened?
Well, you know, they do average 27 wins a year under Jeff Walz. That's not too bad. How about runner-up in the national title game in 09 and 13, right. 3 Final Fours, 32 seasons of basketball before Walz, 0 Sweet 16s.
Wow.
And 4 total NCAA tournament wins for this program. He's taken them to the NCAA tournament 11 times, 9 times in the Sweet 16, into the title game twice.
And he's a Kentucky native. I mean, that's a dream right there, to lead a school in your home state. He's had 3 players of the year, 3 straight players of the year off his team in the ACC. 4 of the last 5 coming from Louisville. Got that stat from Nick Evans, who couldn't make the trip.
15 points now for Smith. And the lead continues to swell for Louisville as we cross the 7-minute threshold of the 4th quarter. You have to point towards the 3-point shooting for Duke. That's pretty much how it's gone all night. They're just 1 of 14 now, Kelly.
Came into this game averaging 9 a game. You know, had just had that record-tying threes in a game, and they have just not been able to find any daylight along the 3-point line.
And you're right, they made 11 in the win against East Carolina on Saturday, 72-47 for the win to go to 3-0. 4th home game in as many games this season for Duke. Had the 3-0 record. Louisville was 4-0, but it appears that the Cards are pulling away and towards another victory for the number 2 team in the nation. Kambati James travels across the lane. No traveling violation. That's just how she went to her left to score those 2. Evans, quick first step. Smith. Cochran over 2 defenders with the putback. Robinson to the baseline, the save to Evans.
I love her effort every time she's on the floor.
And Evans with the 3.
And you got to credit Robinson for that one right there. Going after that offensive rebound, keeping the possession, and then getting it to Evans.
22 points on the night for Dana Evans, and the lead is 20 for Louisville. Jade Williams and her Duke teammates trailing the Louisville Cardinals here in the 4th, but she is part of the CPI security protecting the paint for Duke.
3 blocks already for Jade Williams. She's been great. Good defense inside. I mean, she's going strong. Look at that. The timing coming in, blocking Dana Evans off the glass. That one goes on a highlight reel.
CPI security protecting the paint with Jade Williams, the senior from the Colony, Texas. 6'5" forward center. 11 points tonight, Kelly.
Yeah, her game has increased in a massive way from last season. She's got 11 points, 8 boards right now to go along with those 3 blocks. And I said it earlier, 2nd in the ACC in assists. I mean, she's seen the floor. She's a leader on this team, and Coach Carol Lawson has needed her in every aspect of this game this season. I mean, she's down a few players. She's got 2 players that have had 2 consecutive knee injuries that were not able to play, Jada Adams and Jennifer Azzi. I mean, our thoughts and prayers go out to them. Can you imagine missing 2 straight seasons because of knee injuries? And so this is a roster that has been shortened, and so everybody on the floor has got to contribute.
Other side of the coin, it is Jade Williams playing this season for first-year head coach Carol Lawson. Jade Williams playing her 97th career game for the Blue Devils. But tonight, it's been Louisville leading the vast majority of this game. In fact, Duke led 2-0. And that was it. Trailed by 13 at halftime. And now the lead is 20, the largest of the night for Louisville. And Dana Evans, who for the 4th straight game is above 20 points. But the unselfish play to Cochran.
Just keep adding those stats. Get those assist numbers up. Why not? I know I've said this a few times, but I think so much is said about the firepower on offense for this Louisville team. All the capable scorers when you think about Cochran inside, the freshman right there. And that goes to my point right here. I think that Louisville is actually just a tremendous defensive team. You saw it against DePaul. You're seeing it right now. 40 points only for a team in Duke that was scoring 83 coming into this game. I know we've got some game left, but they bought in, and they've been doing it. They're picking up people at half court, and they're not letting them see the light of day. And that is a buy-in thing right now for this team. And I don't know if I've seen this. I know Louisville's always been good on both sides of the court, but this has been amazing.
So that's now 23 points for Louisville off of Duke turnovers. So you certainly point to that. The lack of scoring from beyond the arc as well for Duke. It looks like Louisville's going to get the road victory. Cochran on the dribble there. 3rd double-double of the season. 11 points, 11 rebounds for number 44 in the middle for Louisville. That rims off to Goodchild. 3-on-2. Knocked away and momentarily stolen. Looked like maybe Balagoon was standing on the end line when she got possession. So it was always going to be a tall order, no matter what, for Kara Lawson to try to win that first ACC game against the number 2 team in the nation and perennial power in the ACC, Louisville.
These are situations sometimes you're not necessarily looking at, the win or the loss. You're looking at how good did we perform? How good, did we do against this team? What did we do wrong when you come out of this one looking at the tape, the next day?
Positive is certainly Williams with 13 points now. Just 4 off of her career high of 17. Double digits again. She had 10 against East Carolina in that most recent game for Duke, a victory. 3:40 to go in our final quarter. That's Van Lith. She hold the finish for an extra beat there?
Might as well. Unbelievable. It's her second 3 of the game, 2 of 4.
14 points. Cards. Big in Durham. Dana Evans showing the poise and confidence of a senior on the road and leading her team to another victory, up 67-42 after leading by 13 at halftime. 4 players in double figures, and Evans leads the way with 22 points for Louisville tonight. Van Lith, you just saw her score a 3-pointer, 14 points for her. Cochran has 11, and Smith with 15 for Louisville. Defending here, they go low to Williams. It's knocked away. Shot clock is down to 2. Boykin. Just the 1 made 3 on the night for Duke. 1 of 16 3-point shooting, Kelly.
Yeah, it's been tough. And actually, I was just watching the play of Michaela Boykin. She's been limited right now as Liz Dixon gets that shot to go due to minutes here because of some knee soreness that she's had. So they haven't been playing her as much as Coach Lawson would like to get her in. But you could use more of her in this game. Attacking the basket. Like that play right there. Anastasia Escar does a great job attacking and finishing. But Boykin plays at that next level, and she's got great athleticism and a great court sense. She's handled the point guard duties. She would have been, if she could have had some more minutes, she would have been, I think, much more of a force in this one.
Goodchild was the leading scorer this season for Duke coming in. 18 points, but just 4 tonight. And misfires from beyond 3-point range up and down the Duke roster. Running the floor and scoring.
And you love that. You see Coach Lawson cheering on her team from the sidelines right there. That deserves a clap, and that's what you're doing, right? You're building for success later on. That's a great play right there. Running in transition, great feed to the inside player who finishes. She's about developing greatness in the little things.
Evans, 24 points now. Even Coach Lawson has to appreciate the effort from Evans tonight.
It'd be hard not to.
And throughout her career, for that matter.
We talked to Coach Lawson just about, being a first-time head coach. Not even just a first-time head coach, but first time in the college game as a head coach. So much new for her, and she said it's all about coming in, setting the standard, communicating that standard often. She said that over and over, didn't she? Sounded a lot like a parenting manual to me. Just right. She said you got to be accountable to that standard. So if somebody messes up, and they will, we need to hold them accountable. Me and my entire staff need to hold them accountable, and that's what she is trying to instill here at Duke. And you're watching these players really start to buy in. I've heard players are staying after practices and putting up shots more than they ever have. Players are getting better because they believe in where they're headed.
That Miami game this Sunday, part of a doubleheader, will also have Florida State and Virginia. And then you saw on the 31st, they'll get another chance at this Louisville team. See how the complexion of the teams look coming up later this month. Final minute of play. Cardinals way out in front. Goodchild comes out of the fray. Steps around the defender, doesn't get the bounce. It goes out of bounds off of De Jesus. Here's what Jeff Walls will face Sunday at home against North Carolina, and then the return to Duke on the 31st. This will be 5 of the last 6 games of victory against the Blue Devils for Louisville. Florida State and Miami in between. Told you about the plan, dividing the group of teams in the ACC into the 3 regions. Trying to play those teams in the region twice. Sometimes it will be on the same court. But just trying to get to the 20 conference games. And the first one of the season for both of these teams is going to go to the Cardinals tonight. And Dana Evans led the way in scoring. She had 24 points, 3 straight games. And now 4 straight games, 20 points or more for Evans. And that's Goodchild with the hoop.
Dana Evans was special tonight, and she was doing a good job of distributing, getting her teammates involved, but when she needed to, she'd step up and just score. She defended, and you saw her with a few picks and going in for layups after that. I mean, she just continues to develop her game.
Final seconds, Smith dribbles it out. Jeff Walls and the Cards 73-49. They went 5 for 5 from beyond the arc in the first quarter from 3-point range and never looked back tonight at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Yeah,
it was a great defensive effort. They got what they needed on the offensive end. You got Dana Evans, you got everything you need on the offensive end. The freshmen were impressive. Haley Van Lith, I could watch that replay about 10 times in a row watching what she does. But the defense, that's how they got this win tonight.
All right, a little more business to do from Durham. We'll step aside for a moment and come back. Cards over the Blue Devils tonight.